paid my dues time after time. I've done my sentence, but committed no crime. And bad mistakes, I've made a few. I've had my shells and kicked in my bed, but I've come through. I need to go on. We are the champions.
Yes, Tiger fans, that is right. We are the champions. Welcome to Talking Tigers. Richmond are premiers for 2017, and I'll tell you what, nothing is sweeter than that. 5 days on, and it is real. It has sunk in, and I can tell you what, we're going to enjoy it after a 37-year wait. Why wouldn't we? It's been a fantastic week for all Tiger supporters. Congratulations to everyone involved at the club, and today we're going to have a look back, boys, at all the moments from Saturday, the 30th of September 2017, and that date is going to stay in our minds for a long time. What a magnificent day it was, boys, and how good did it feel?
Oh, hey, JB, just still floating on cloud nine.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a little bit surreal. Even though I've seen it, I was there on the ground, watched the replay, seen the boys with the cup. It's still a little bit surreal,
It is.
but it is sinking in.
was a
and
great-
it's the best feeling.
Greatest day of my life.
Yeah.
You know, well, obviously when my two
You've seen
two
it,
girls were the two girls were born, with all,
Sorry,
with
the
them.
Greenberg
No,
girls,
but they were there too. I've seen a few. I've seen 6 now, so I'm blessed. And I reckon I felt most. I think this is the. It's hard to say if it's the best. It's the most special and most important because it broke the longest drought.
Yeah.
And they're harder to win now than ever because it's in the AFL competition. 18 teams. There's a draft. There's a salary cap. So they're much, much harder to win. So this is the most special and most important one.
Well, I think it has to be. After 37 years and all the ups and downs and the club nearly going under at one stage in the
we'll save our skins,
early
yeah.
90s to be premiers now, I think it means the most, that's for sure. And
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe it out there after the game on the ground. It was everything you could have imagined it to be like.
Well, and look, it was extra special too, and this is not, it's because you were able to present the cup. And so, what was your feeling there? Being able to present that cup must have been incredible for you.
Yeah, it was. Before the game, just walking out there with Mark
Yeah.
Bickley and sitting the cup down and then sort of sitting back, you look around and you go, gee, this is happening. This is a grand final. And then you walk off and you go, gee, I hope it's not Bix giving the cup now. Like you had a taste for it. Oh, it was unbelievable. As I said, it's been the best month you could ever have.
Oh,
And
yeah.
to be up there and hand it over to Dimmer and Koch, you never ever forget it. Never ever going to forget that. And
No.
it wasn't just a win, boys.
It was emphatic.
It was an emphatic win.
And like it has been all final series, we've got to say, we played the other top 4 sides and we beat them all comfortably.
Similar pattern in each game. Not
Yep.
much in it at half time, and then just completely overpowered the opposition in the second half.
You did. Just overpowered them with the pressure, and you just knew in each game at half time that the other teams were tiring. Yeah. I think at three-quarter time, let's just go through some random memories of the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
But at three-quarter time, you're still in the back of your mind, you're thinking, can they score quickly?
Well, not even then. When they kicked 2 in a row, and then they had another foray forward, and you're thinking, they got it to about, I think it was about 5 goals, the difference then, which is still a fair amount, halfway through a quarter, but no, really, it was never in doubt, to be honest.
So three-quarter time, went out onto the ground and was pacing around. Felt like forever, but you looked over at our group and they just looked calm and composed. And I looked at the Adelaide boys, and Don Pike was talking to them by this stage, and I thought their eyes looked a bit blank. I just thought they looked a little bit shell-shocked, and that's when I thought, we'll win this now.
Well, I've got to say also, and this is everyone's pretty clever in hindsight, but even that, the national anthem and, our blokes linking arms and they actually look really, our blokes look composed, they looked happy to be there. By contrast with Adelaide, and they were doing that stance, I don't know, they look so serious that I don't know, maybe it just, I don't know, maybe
I think
it
you
got
can
to them
even
a bit. Yeah.
can go further back than that. I didn't really look at what Adelaide did on the Friday, but our boys at the parade,
Yeah, they were happy.
just had a good time and
did.
enjoyed it. And
Yeah.
I mean, the crowd there was phenomenal, and some of the noise that they were making was outstanding. But they just lapped it up.
Yeah, they
and
did.
they came into the game and they were relaxed, and it showed.
And why shouldn't they lap it up? It's something that, history says you mightn't get back there again.
Oh,
so
they're very hard to get into, and they're obviously even harder to win. But we've got it. You know, I feel.
Has anyone claimed? Can I just say one? Has
Yeah.
anyone claimed Jack Graham officially on Talking Tigers?
Well, I
yet?
think I will.
No, I'm claiming him.
Well, I think he was TT's own almost, apart from our other own Sean Grigg, who we must pay tribute to for what he was able to achieve.
What about the Iceman? No,
Extraordinary.
just went back and didn't look like missing those goals, did he?
Just incredible. Just that. So he's actually now played more finals than he has home and away games.
Yep.
He's unbeaten, and he's got a premiership after 5 games.
Yep.
And he's now a life member of the club, along with every member of the. Well, there were
So
few
it should
life
be.
members in that team anyway, but the rest.
Yeah.
I think 18 new life members at the end of this season.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Just brilliant.
Well, you got the stats about how many games he'd played for a premiership, and other Richmond players who have
Yeah.
done similar. It's
Yeah, he's
pretty high
I
up
think,
on the
I think
list.
I think he's third or equal third
Yeah.
of the list of least number of games for Richmond Premiership, and Brody too. Brody's
Yeah,
in that
with
list too because
12.
that's only 12.
They all played their role, didn't they? Like I reckon if you look at every
Massive.
player,
Yep.
you go, yeah, no, he played his role, and that's what
Oh,
you've
they
got to
did.
do.
They did. And just the pressure that they brought, and it was just manic pressure, and they were able to sustain it right throughout the season virtually, but certainly in September, and they ramped it up to another level. And on grand final day, it was just superb.
Give us
superb.
give us three. Give us 3 things that you.
Oh well, I think Jack set the tone early with that big grab, and I reckon his game, the way he attacked the ball, he took 2 great marks. Took 2 great marks in the game, like real speckies. He kicked a couple of goals, and look, he had 3 shots early. They weren't easy shots, so he could have maybe nailed another 1 or 2. And he actually had a team high 7 tackles. And then after the game, obviously, to go up and on stage with the Killers and take centre stage there, and so
get into
he's
that
had a
in a
massive, but he's had a massive game. So I think that was a real highlight.
That big rundown tackle of his early.
That was
Huge,
fine.
but that was a team high, 7 tackles too. So I thought he was great. Do you want another couple?
Yeah,
or
give
we'll
us
go-
2 more, and then JB will give us a few,
Okay,
and then
all
I'll
right,
give us.
okay. I just thought that I thought Basher Hooley arguably played the greatest game, his best game of his career. Certainly at Richmond, I just thought he was, and he's been a very good player here.
It was a
Very, very
fascinating
good
battle
player.
with sort of Laird getting a little bit of it, but I thought Hooley was more damaging.
He was awesome, Basher. And in fact, he's had a really good final series, as virtually all of them. And you enhance your reputation. There's no doubt about that with your performances in finals, particularly grand finals. And he's now got a really, really good reputation because I just thought his hardness at the contest, and he read the game so well, and just that his skill and his run, I thought he was exceptional. And look, I'll just throw in one more. Just the last one, just the sheer delight of what it means to Richmond supporters. So all Richmond supporters, what this means, and particularly I think the younger generation that has never experienced it, like my 2 girls, Emily and Laura, but there's a whole lot of others, Hayden that works here, JB, lifelong Richmond supporter that's never experienced this. So I say I'm lucky because I've seen 6 now, but for them to experience and know what Richmond is as a powerhouse, see us win a premiership, that means the world.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well
For me, it was Charlie Cameron was running along the wing. He'd won a battle against Asprey, I think it was, kicked it long, and it looked like a goal for all money that they were going to get. And Ramsey just found a way to come back and spoil it through for a behind. I thought that was a massive play, and just one of so many things that he did well throughout the game. And
I thought at half time, he was probably Norm Smith at half time, Rancy.
It just didn't get down there enough in the second half, did it? Really?
Yep. And then Sean Griggs' handball over the top to free up Kane Lambert to snap it home. That's when I thought.
Oh yeah.
That's not when I thought we'd had it won. That's when I thought
It looked
we're
hard,
going to be
though,
very
didn't it?
tough to beat from here. And then when I thought we had it won was Lambert again running down the wing, handballed it into Prestia, who snapped it home, and that was it.
Yeah.
How good's he been, Kane Lambert, throughout the season?
Well, yeah. Well, third in the best and fairest in the
Jeez,
premiership
he's a
year.
Good player.
And Prestia's game as well
Oh,
in the
yeah.
grand final, very
Yeah.
underrated.
Oh,
Prestia's final series.
Well, Prestia, Caddy and Nankervis, it's 3 pretty handy recruits.
Yes.
Gee.
Yeah, I think a couple of moments for me were when Butler kicked his goal in the last quarter. I reckon that's when that really hit home. It really hit home, and they were showing pictures of Brendan and his family, his mum and Michael. And when I saw Michael and Brendan,
That got to
losing it,
you.
That got
Oh,
me.
yeah,
That got me.
understandably.
It's nearly getting me again now.
Yeah.
That's when it really hit home. I reckon that they were going to do it. I loved Griggy's goal too.
Yeah.
Just his year, Griggy. It was just a perfect goal, and it just kept extending the
We're
lead.
just proud of him because he's TT's own now, so we're extra proud of him, what he was been able to achieve.
Yeah, and and you had to. This was earlier in the game, in the second quarter, but it was when I thought, gee, we're really getting the ascendancy now. When it went into Martin, one out, and he took the chest mark.
Really big moment.
That was a big follow-up from a goal as well.
Yeah.
So from Graham's first goal.
That's
it
right.
was.
Really, really big moment.
Yeah, and that's when I thought, well, gee, they'll be real worried now. Martin's going forward and kicking goals. So, and then clearly, it was good to see Dusty take out the Norm Smith medal. It could have been won by a number of guys, but I think in the end, he's 21 contested possessions in a grand final. That's incredible. That is a huge number.
Oh, massive. Yeah. Massive number. I love the look when the final siren went and Dusty was heading off one and then he just heads off in the other direction to go to Grigor and Jack, who is really close to both, obviously. That was fantastic. And so many. How many times have you watched the replay, both of you?
I watched it when I got home Saturday night. I watched it again. And then I had another look on Sunday, and then I watched a bit more on Monday afternoon, I reckon it was, before the BNF.
Yeah, JB, seen it a couple of times?
Just the once, being there on Saturday and then I think again on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Couldn't really do much else on Tuesday, so I thought I'd watch the replay. And
it
was good. It was
You
good.
actually put in a big one at the BNF. We might as well talk about the BNF now. The Jack Dye medal. You were just about best on. Scones, in fact, may have walked out at daylight as well, Sconesy, from the BNF.
Massive.
As you said, they don't come around every day.
No. You've got to keep... And there's no reason why the celebrations need to cease anytime soon.
Yeah. There's been a few good lunches, but the Jack Dye medal... Dusty has done it again.
Good night.
He can win it all, even greyhound races.
That's right.
Tiger Dusty.
It's 6-1. Jeez, should have been on that.
I thought it was great to see Grimesy be recognised as the top
five. And Lambert, as we spoke about.
And even Rancy as well coming second, but the margin wasn't
huge,
massive, and just shows what a year he's had as well. And All Australian captain, premiership winner. Just a superstar defender.
Yeah. What did you with obviously their tone, and you watched it at home? You were a bit hungover still.
I hit the wall, well and truly.
But just the way all the guys spoke, JB.
Yeah, I saw all that. Yeah,
they were outstanding speeches, and they'd obviously had a few big days, but they still were able to get up there and nail those speeches.
And Dusty was a bit cheeky.
He was good.
Won a few awards.
That was classic. I won a couple of awards the last few weeks.
Showed a good sense of humour. Dusty,
he's got a very dry sense of humour. Yeah, because he won the Gary Ayres Award too for Best Player of the Final Series as well, so that's another thing. But
Dave Asprey's speech, did you enjoy
very
that?
Emotional about it, Ivan. Very, and it gives you an insight into how important Ivan has been in turning the culture of this club around. He's played a huge role there.
The boys love him, don't they?
No, they do.
Yeah.
They do indeed. So,
and then things kicked on the next day. I'm not sure how they got there to the wacky Tuesday.
Just some good
Tiger
costumes.
Tuesday.
Who was the best?
Who was the best, JB? You're looking at a photo now.
The skipper was good, going as Ralph Carr.
Yeah, Ralph was good. Brando going in the North get-up was quite funny.
As Dusty. He was going as Dusty, wasn't he, in the North get-up. Yeah,
one of my favourites that probably no one outside the club would know, there's our leadership guy, Shane McCurry.
Yes.
Got a big black bushy beard.
Yeah.
Always wears his jumper zipped up, cowboy boots, and Nick Foster nailed it 100%. So.
Yeah, so people, for anyone listening, get on and line and have a look at the photo of all the boys and have a look at Nick Floston. He's gone as the leadership consultant there. So.
Nathan Broadwin is Black Caviar's jockey,
and Bogut and Liz Cambridge as well.
Yeah, that's great.
Lloydie.
Brilliant stuff.
Yeah, Lloydie and Milesy.
Jack Graham went as the Honey Badger.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, the Honey Badger.
Awesome.
And Kath and Kim.
Kath and Kim was good.
Shorty.
Shorty had the G-banger on. He did. He had the G-banger on, Shorty. Gee, it was a good day. I actually dropped in. I thought I was going to be is it a bit wrong for me to go? And then Jack said at the beginning, he said, come in for an hour.
I want you there.
So I got in there and they made me scull a Guinness. It's the first
brilliant.
a pint of Guinness. Do you reckon the old 42-year-old guts weren't feeling it after the Guinness went in there?
Geez, you have been milking this.
You've
been milking this.
No, I have. I'm unashamedly too.
Good on you.
Yeah.
And special mention to Camden, who
he
went
was
as bad grandpa. And he spent 2 hours getting his makeup done for it. So.
Well, that's dedication after a BNF. He was great.
He still thinks we're playing this Saturday, though. I think he thinks that was a preliminary final that we won, and we're
thought that was a recovery.
Yeah,
he's enjoyed the Chronicles of
Fame.
He's
Fantastic,
very good.
He's a legend.
Hey, before we get into a few of the tweets from our loyal supporters, we better have a listen. He's completely lost. He went as Brandon Flowers on Monday, Jack Rewalt on Tuesday to the drinks. He actually thinks. He is Brandon Flowers.
He's a rock star now.
Yeah, he does. So here it is, Jack and the Killers. It's a good song. It is a good song.
Well,
Good song.
I had no idea who the Killers were
Which is
until the
embarrassing.
weekend, but now I do.
Gee, they were good on Saturday as well.
They'll always have a special place now in my heart.
Oh, you'll be out buying some albums,
No, I
I
don't
reckon.
think so.
Hot Fuss.
Only if Jack is singing, the lead singer.
Gee, they were good.
You've got mail.
Midnight Oil as well. They dropped a bit as well.
Yeah, that was good.
Premiership edition. Stump
Yeah.
Greeners for you here.
Oh,
Tony.
All
It's a
right.
tough one. I haven't actually confirmed whether it's true, but
Okay.
between premierships,
Yeah.
1980 and 2017, how many Tigers left to play in a premiership with another club?
Oh, boy.
I'll let you think about it.
Yeah, okay, that's
Think
a
about it.
long time.
Come back to it at the
Yeah.
end, JB.
Okay.
Here's one from Paul Cullen. Is there anything Jack can't do? You know you're going well as a club when the full forward has the prestigious honour of having a ram named after him. And he sent
A
through a
ram?
PDF from the Riverina Ram sale.
Look at that.
It doesn't make great radio.
Ram.
It's
What did he go for, the Ram?
Lot 5,
Yeah.
Tag 68, Sire, Rewaltz.
Really? Oh, he'd be a bit sheepish about that, wouldn't he?
Comfort factor 99.8%. I
That
don't know
is
what
a
that
man.
means, but
That'd be the wool that
pretty
comes
high.
off him.
Yeah, it's pretty
He-
comfortable.
He
so.
rammed a couple home on Saturday, too.
You know
didn't
you're
he?
going well.
He
Goals,
rammed
goals,
home a
goals,
few.
goals, that is, yeah.
He was ramming home a few shots at
Was he?
the Jack Dyer medal. Yeah, don't worry about that.
Next one's from Travis. Hi guys. Friday night I was resigned to the fact that I'd be watching the granny from home. Then I got a call to let me know my girlfriend and I had won 2 tickets,
Wow.
which was great. And then he also got to go on the G at 3/4 time to kick for cash and won a handy $1,000 as well.
Oh, some people, it's just amazing. the
What a
luck some people
weekend
have.
and what a year.
Hey, can I just add a quick story about a mate of mine, David Tocci, who you might have met over the years, but
Yeah.
barracked for Richmond for 20 years. Before the season, he put on 3 separate bets that Richmond would win the premiership before the season.
Really?
He won 15 grand on
Wow,
Saturday.
good on him.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he never cashed out at one stage. He
Brilliant
just
stuff.
let him ride.
Lovely.
And the last one is from Angus Cranswick. He's really enjoyed your 50-year special.
Oh, good.
And
There'll be none of that next year, will there?
No,
No,
and
won't
he
be
started after listening to that, he started to read the Royce Hart story again every week, reading a chapter every week, and then he got to the end of it last week after the grand final, driving back home to Newcastle.
Oh, good.
I assume he wasn't driving and reading at the same time.
Don't read and drive.
But he said he's looking
Very
forward
dangerous.
to Trent Cotchin assuming the mantle and writing his own book, and he can read it again. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's great.
Well, I wrote a piece yesterday, and did a column, and he is in rarefied air, Koch, because he's one of the few players in throughout league football history been a premiership captain and a Brownlow medalist. I think there's only been 7 or 8.
Well, they just keep coming, all these.
Before we get
Feats.
into anything on the Stump Greeners yet,
Well, I know a few. I know that obviously Brad Ottens.
yes,
Yeah. I'll give you one.
he reckons there's only been 3
Brian Wood,
Yeah, Woody.
Brad Ottens, Brian Wood.
between
Yeah.
1980.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he's got it wrong then.
Oh, okay. Well,
he's
right,
only
got it
he's
right.
only given us 3.
Brian Wood went.
Yeah,
and
no,
won
Woody
one.
went and won one at Essendon.
Who else? We'll give him a T
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah,
So
yeah.
just
Give me a
tell
T.
us.
It's a
Give
good
him a
one.
T.
So there's another one from West Coast.
Peter
Peter
Wilson.
Wilson.
and the last one at Sydney.
Yeah, Morton.
Mordo.
Mitch Morton.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, he missed out Woody though.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
did.
So
did
he
get
got it
Woody.
wrong. You got it wrong. So we'll
But
give
we'll
him a
give
T
him one.
anyway.
Well, I didn't get it wrong because I was going through them all.
Got him.
Fair enough.
We'll get through some tweets.
Punch through a few.
LC West tearing up at work listening to us.
Oh,
I hope in a good way.
I teared up on Tuesday, Arvo.
Oh, Monday got me because the weekend was so busy and I was home on my own Monday and it just got to me.
Just completely lost it.
I reckon I could go again with the
I will.
tears.
I'm going to go today.
Okay. Just wow. Peter Buchanan saying his 2 favourite grand final moments weren't on the field as such. It was Koch carrying Rioli on the lap
Yeah,
of
that
honour,
was special.
and the Oz kicker giving Jack his medal.
How good was he?
how
You're a
good.
legend, mate. You're a legend. That
How
was
good is it
awesome.
for them little kids out there?
Brilliant. I wanted little Dusty to present the big
Yeah,
Dusty.
yeah. Well, he was at the parade on Friday as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
Here's
he's
one
on
from our friend Lou.
Oh, Lou.
Lou.
Can't wait to stroll back into Punt Road in 50 years for my much-awaited Spirit of 17 series.
Oh, well, he might be doing it on TT back then. I reckon I mightn't be around by
I
then.
could
but,
be wrong, but I reckon Lou nearly got escorted out of Crown Casino on Monday night.
Did a Dirks?
Yeah, he was
that
hammered.
right?
He was hammered, Lou.
are you on air? Here's one from Manfred. Speaking of VFL luminaries,
Stretch it out, was he? Limo.
Is it true that Manfred got a limo to the ground on Saturday?
No.
not the Tiger limo, was it?
Goodness me.
You are kidding yourself.
Anyway, the most pleasing aspect of our premiership win was that each of the 22 had their moment and stood up when their number was called.
Yeah, spot on.
Brendan Fisher saying Kane Lambert most underrated footballer in the comp, and also that his brother listened to the grand final via a radio on a train in Mozambique,
Mozambique.
That's a first.
and his mum was in a pub in Amsterdam.
Gee.
There's been plenty of those stories. I had a bloke send me a little video on Instagram, a heap of Richmond supporters just wandering the streets of Munich,
Yeah.
just singing the song and loving it. Yeah.
Geez, combining that with Oktoberfest, how big would that be?
Anyway, we're through a couple more. One from Redhead. Can't stop smiling and was rapt to see you, Richo, present the cup.
Thanks, Redhead.
Geez,
rock
when the
solid.
chant went up, when the Richo chant went up too.
It was
Special.
embarrassing. It was good though. Thanks, Richmond supporters.
Brock Solid, so happy and grateful to have been at the game live with brother and dad from Perth. I think that was one of the great things as well. Families being there
As
together.
I said, to share it with my two daughters, and that's the same with this whole generation that hadn't seen it. And so, spend it with your kids or your parents or whatever. Brilliant.
And the last one we'll use as a bit of a segue. This is from Panky61, Neil Pankhurst.
Oh, Panky.
Good moustache.
Old hanky panky.
Surely the chief has earned a bit of new mahogany for the CEO suite.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll get into it now then, Sconzy,
Yeah.
I think.
Now, Matty, you told me that there was no way that you were going to do a chief watch because
I
of what
wasn't.
had happened, and that it was a respect for the chief of what he'd been able to achieve and everything. So, what's changed your mind?
Because Brendan got to the club 7 or 8 years ago, whatever, $4 million in debt, whatever it was. Anyway, he's overseen this transformation. We know what happened last
premiership
year.
club now, yep.
Him and Peggy, the leadership. So well done, Brendan. You're an outstanding individual and what you've been able to get this club up and about and back where they should be. Congratulations. But I'm going to have to give you another whack, Chief.
Oh, no.
Well, this has come from nowhere, and this is true. I'm not making this up. I will say over the year I've added a little bit of mayonnaise to Chief
only a
Watch.
little
Here and
bit.
there.
There might have been a bit about the club sandwiches at,
There's no-
with
Oh,
Troy
yeah.
Casadale's kids.
No, that's true.
Oh,
It
okay.
is true, that one.
They're a bit older than what you said, though,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah, they're 20 and 21. But, no, this is true. So I get here today, and Scons and Rach and Matt are busy getting some stuff ready for some filming, and in the boardroom there's a camera being set up, and they're getting a little backdrop set up with premiership sort of memorabilia and stuff around. And I thought, isn't this nice? A few of the boys are going to do a little piece. And then I saw Mike Sheehan walk in. I thought, Mike must be doing a special on the players and
Or
the
maybe
group.
with Koch or someone.
the captain or the Norm Smith medalist. And then I watched Brendan walk in to the boardroom to sit down with Mike Sheehan one-on-one. He is the first person in history. He's doing another open mic.
He did one 6 weeks ago.
He's doing another one.
6 weeks, if that. Might have been 4 weeks ago.
What could have happened in 6 weeks that
It's
he
the
didn't tick off?
premiership edition of Open Mic.
Yeah,
with Brendan
premiership-
Gale.
No, Brendan. Maybe with the captain. Now, I know you did a little bit, but you didn't play on Saturday, mate. That is a disgrace. Let Koch and the boys take a bit of credit, will you? Come on.
Biggest club news is we won the premiership.
Yeah, there
We
can't be too
won the
much, can there?
premiership.
There
Oh,
can't be.
merch.
for-
What about merch?
Own a piece of Richmond history with the
No,
Superstores range of Premiership apparel,
Yep.
Premiership memorabilia and Brownlow memorabilia, all available via shop.richmondfc.com.au. That's shop.richmondfc.com.au. There's also a Guernsey auction for the signed match-worn Guernseys from last Saturday's grand final win. Only place you can get them with the embroidered grand final logo. If you want to bid on Dusties, it's currently going for 18,855
A lazy 18 grand.
For his jumper.
currently, and there's still about a week to go. So get in quick.
Gee.
Koch's is just over 9, Jack's 5.
Wow.
But there's still a few bargains to be had.
Wow.
Not that that's not a bargain for Dusty's.
I'm going to
Guernsey.
bid for Jack Graham's.
Oh,
Get
yeah.
on today.
Hey, also you might have seen Conrad Marshall, a senior Fairfax reporter. He came on board at the club the start of last year, start of 2016. He was going to write a book going into great detail about the club and how it operates, and last year with the year that
He-
we had.
he
It
aborted it then.
Yeah, it was put on ice for a bit. So he came on board again this year just to
Right from the start.
you know, see what might happen.
Start of pre-season.
Yeah,
though.
it started pre-season.
Yeah,
yep.
started
Yeah.
pre-season.
Yeah.
So he's been here for the last 2 years, from pre-season onwards.
Yeah.
He's got such great context between both years
Yeah.
now. He's writing a book, Yellow and Black, A Season with Richmond. Book is available early in November, but pre-order now via
Wow.
shop.richmondfc.com.au. And we're going to run an excerpt on our website today from the Round 5 Melbourne game.
Well, let me
where
tell
we
you,
came from behind.
I've proofread a fair bit of the book,
pretty
and
good,
it
isn't it?
is the best
Yeah.
AFL football book I have read. It is a sensation.
Yeah, so I think he's
Brilliant. He's chronicled the whole year. You've got to have it. Like,
Oh, everyone
honestly,
will get it.
It's
I think he's
brilliant.
working overtime now, finishing the last couple of chapters.
It is
so
brilliant. He's written it so well, and it's
That'll
just
be-
incredible insight.
Available via the club in early November. You can pre-order now. Finally, I just want to thank all the people who get involved with the show every week.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Sorry we can't get to everybody. And finally, a big thank you to our presenting partner of the podcast, Bang & Olufsen,
Oh, how good are
for all their
honestly,
commitment
these
to the show.
headphones have been amazing.
Well, Scones is going on holiday next week, and
Yeah.
he's just going to put the noise-cancelling
Great
bangers on.
idea. He's just going backpackers, or
Oh, yeah.
no, not anymore.
No,
he's
he's-
tracking square now.
No, he's moved on from
He's
the back
tracking
days.
square now.
So
Yeah.
we've certainly raised the bar this year with the podcast and the filming, and of course Grigor coming on board, and
Yep.
the BO Player H9s.
Yeah.
They're just the cream on top. So
Awesome.
thanks a lot.
Can I just mention I went to the superstore before I came in here
Yeah.
and just bought a few badges, and that cost me like over 40 just for a few badges and stickers. There is so much there. I could spend thousands in there. So
They're
there's
doing-
everything.
They're
There's
doing
so
a
many
roaring
things.
trade at the moment.
Fantastic.
Well, very good, JB. Thanks for all your efforts
Great.
in club
No
news
worries.
during the year.
It's
Yeah.
been mixed receptions
No,
some
people,
weeks.
a few people like it.
Mate,
I've had
it's-
some positive news.
It's Premiership Club news now. It's just incredible.
Yeah.
Awesome. We're
Now,
not doing one of these, are we?
No, we'll finish off a few that you didn't get.
All right.
All right.
So we're not idle. How good's the song now?
Yeah.
Relating to the last time we were in the grand final before this, and now I can listen to it quite contentedly again. It's
Yeah.
just fantastic. Anyways, a few that we didn't mention
'Cause we
before.
ticked off a few
So
of
I'm
these
not doing the
before.
whole 10 because
Yeah.
we've gone off on a few. But Toby Nankervis, his energy at the centre bounces, the work he did around the ground, he had a massive role to try and negate Jacobs, who
Yeah.
obviously a very important player for Adelaide.
Yeah.
But
Did it.
I just thought the way he did it, he just was jumping at the centre bounce, just so much energy and
Sort of
did a really
symbolised
good
the whole.
job.
He gets better as the game. He just works
He
right
does.
to the end of the game, Nank.
No,
doesn't
he does. He does indeed. Now, just Trent Koch, he's an inspirational captaincy. Just the way he would throw himself at the ball, just to negate the opposition. I just thought he was enormous right throughout the season with his captaincy, and took it up another gear in the finals and the grand final. Outstanding. I think we've probably touched on it. Oh well, Jacob Townsend.
Yeah.
I mean, his hardness at the contest, just extraudry.
32 kicks,
32
16
kicks. He's had
goals.
16 goals
Since
from
he came
32
back
kicks
into the
since he
team.
came back in. So 50% of his kicks are goals. Just amazing.
Just
So,
reliable set shot, isn't
really
he?
good. And just that hardness at the contest that he brings.
Few big
He's a tough
tackles.
player. Yeah, no, he's a really tough player. We've touched on all the others. I mean,
Right.
Jack Graham, we've touched on his two
No,
massive third quarter
what
goals.
we didn't touch on was his job to shut Sloan down.
Well,
we touched on the goals.
Who he idolised as a kid growing up in Adelaide.
He's a good player, Sloan.
He's a very good player.
He started very well.
And Sloan only got another half dozen kicks, I think, or touches after that.
Good
Half
move
a dozen
on it by
disposals.
the coaching staff.
Really, really good move. So, and they need to. That's another thing. They need to take credit. The whole coaching staff. So Dimmer and the entire coaching staff for what they were able to get out of this group this season. It's just been incredible.
Yeah. Well
Fantastic. All
A
right.
few votes then, eh?
Yep.
I might go first.
Please.
I gave 3 to Dusty Martin because of the contested possession. You need to win the hard ball in big games, and well, he took it up another notch. I think only been bettered once. I think Simon Black had more in one of their premierships at Brisbane. I think he had 24, but Dusty had the 21 or 22. Second most contested ever in a granny. Rancy, I thought he was best on at half time. Just the little things. The 1% is not doesn't have to have 25 touches. We know what he does. 2 for him. And Basher Hooley could have been best on ground, as could have Rance. I reckon you're right. I reckon it's the best game I've seen him play. Composed,
Yeah.
took some great intercept marks, kicked that goal. Well done, Basher.
Go on, JB.
I've given my 3 votes to Bashir Hooley. When I was watching it, I thought he was the best player on the ground. I watched the replay and it didn't really change my
change.
mind, but
Yeah.
I gave him 3 votes. 2 to Dustin Martin,
Yeah.
Norm Smith medalist, can make a case for me that he was best on ground equally. So it's hard to not give him best on ground. So I gave him 2 votes, and one I gave to Rancy as well. I thought he was super composed, leadership, everything that you want from him. And they're underrated key defenders sometimes, but we've got two very, very two tall ones, and then Grimesy and Nick Floston
and Basher.
Everybody.
He's running.
So,
How good's Floston's hands in marking contest?
He's exceptional. I reckon he's just about the best one grab mark in the team, almost.
Couldn't
He's
argue
very,
with
very
that.
good. Anyway, I gave 3 to Dusty for all the reasons mentioned, and his 2 goals, and the goal he kicked before half time, that was critical. So, and the one at the end probably was the one that just put the finishing touches to it, was the cream on the cake. 2 to Basher for all the reasons that we have mentioned, and 1 to Rancy.
Well done. So, do you want me to finally give you the final leaderboard?
Please.
Yes. Okay.
So he couldn't be beaten.
I don't think.
No, okay. All right.
We got it pretty right.
Yep.
Didn't quite get... we probably missed Grimesy a bit over the year, which we apologise for. Grimesy, you're a champion. But anyway, the winner, 139 to Dustin Martin in first place. Trent Cotchin in second place on 63. Alex Rance in third on 47. Griggy in fourth. TT's own Sean Grigg in 30 points there for him. And 27 for Kane Lambert rounds out the top 5. So Dusty won another award. I'm not sure this one goes up high on his mantelpiece, but... He's won it.
I'm not sure the
catching up with him?
not sure the memorabilia is in the
No,
store.
no, it's a shame. Yeah, because it's a very prestigious award. This
I'll
one.
let him know. I'll text him
if you
later.
could. Yeah, no, he'd be very pleased to hear this, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he wouldn't even know we exist up here, would he? Dusty?
He'd be the only one in the world that doesn't, though.
Oh, no, yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good point.
anyway.
Well, we've got to tick these off. So,
I can't even remember what I had.
I had Rance for Norm Smith.
I had Dusty for Norm Smith, but that was a no-brainer. I didn't go with it because it was too obvious.
Well, you had Rioli 3 goals.
Yeah,
was your yellow and black.
I'm not quite there.
What was yours,
quite there.
JB?
I had Jack Graham for most tackles.
Oh, mate, he
I think
went
I crossed
beyond
it out
that.
and said
He
goals.
went beyond that.
So it's almost claiming it.
Oh, well, we'll give it to you.
Yeah.
Just give it to you. All right.
Do you want to do it? Should we do a yellow and blacker for best on footy trip performance?
Ooh.
Oh, no, we'll stay away from that.
You reckon?
I don't want to
All
cause
right,
any
no, fair enough.
controversy.
Fair enough. All right.
Scones will be in Japan.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
He's going to Japan.
There he is.
There's a few Tigers over there. He's going to see the Hanshin Tigers.
Yeah.
Baseball team over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. The land of the rising sun. Bit of sushi and great.
A few beers
Fantastic.
for scones over
Bit
there.
of sake.
Yeah.
Lovely. Well, my last Spirit of 67. The last Spirit of 67. So what I'm going to do, because I just found it striking, there was a lot of striking similarities between the 67 premiership and the 2017, 50 years
I
apart.
don't think
obviously.
you'd be able to scrounge another one of these out.
No, amazing what I've been able to do. So anyway, of course, in 67, not one Richmond player went to the grand final with any grand final experience. 50 years on, not one player with grand final experience.
Yeah.
Okay. So the way they played, there was that relentless pressure and numbers at the ball, which was synonymous with 67 and in 2017. Now, back in 1967, there was a surprise packet that bobbed up with 3 goals from nowhere. Johnny Ronaldson.
Yeah.
50
Jack
years on,
Graham.
it's fair to say Jack Graham was a bit of a surprise packet to be the Richmond's leading goal kicker on the day.
I like it.
Now, in 67, there was a talented teenager that kicked the equal most goals in Royce Hart. 50 years on, another teenager kicks the most goals, Jack Graham.
Yeah.
Right? Back in 67, a young kid from Tassie, from Clarence Footy Club in Tassie, takes an iconic mark.
Yeah.
50 years on,
Clarence.
another young player, a player from Clarence,
Yeah.
Clarence's
Not
own Jack
so young
Rewald.
anymore,
No,
Jack.
not so young, but another player from Clarence takes 2 speckies in the grand final.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, that in 67 it broke what was then the longest drought in the club's history, 24 years. 50 years on breaks what was then the longest drought of 37 years.
Yeah.
And then there was a lot of players, obviously, that came through together in 67 with a few older players, more experienced players, and that 50 years on was the same. So that's just, there was a lot of synergy, obviously, there between the two.
And to your credit, at the start of the year, when you said this was going...
I told you.
You felt something in the air.
Oh, I just-
50 years on.
I just told you that when we were going home one day after the show.
Yeah.
And I just felt that even from a spiritual, I know I'm getting really deep into spiritual
No,
with
but
this.
you did say this, so I'm just letting you have the opportunity.
I just felt that with the passing of a few 67 premiership players, including your dad, Bull, in the last few years, and then Billy Barrett late last year, and Tommy a few years ago, and Neville Crowe, who wasn't and should have been, but wasn't a member of that side, but he passed away
So you
late
just
last
felt
year.
that made 50
I just
years
felt
on
there was
something could build.
something special, and the fact that we got Crowe's image went on all the membership tickets as well this year. So I just had this feeling that there was something going on that was just helping drive us as well. So
It was the right feeling.
yeah, I just think it was just meant to be, maybe. Yeah, which was fantastic. So
No, well done, Tony.
So
Good work.
that's it, the
Good
spirit of
work with that
67.
this year too.
Yep. Thank you.
We gave it to you, but it was good.
Yeah. Well, this is a special premiership edition of the gags. There's a lot, so you just tell me when you're sick of them, all right? Because there's a lot of gags here, all right?
6 will do.
Oh, might be a few more. We'll just see. Now, our pet wildcat ran away last week, so I put up posters in our neighbourhood so that others could help me find the missing links. What article of clothing do you put on a house?
What?
A dress. Yeah.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah. My leaf blower doesn't work.
Oh, no.
It sucks. A mate of mine is addicted to somersaults. Yeah, that's just how he rolls.
Jeez.
What do you call Dracula with hay fever?
Oh, no.
Yeah, the pollen count.
Hey,
It's shut down.
Yeah.
just on Drac. Boot
Oh,
starter.
Drac.
How happy was he?
Drac was over the moon.
Yeah, been here as long as anyone.
Well, Drac was in the cheer squad initially.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Well done, Drac.
fantastic. And to all those volunteers,
everyone.
everyone associated with the club and every supporter. What would happen if the devil lost his hair?
I don't know.
There would be hell to pay.
Could borrow crotches from the... Black
Yes, he
Tuesday.
could. Yeah. Just on the devil theme, what happens if you don't pay an exorcist?
What?
You get repossessed.
Two more.
Oh, I've got a few other good ones. There was a recent study that tried to pinpoint the effect, which is very timely now. There was a recent study that tried to pinpoint the effect that alcohol had on walking. The result was staggering. What leaps from cake to cake and smells of almond? Tarzan.
Last one.
Really?
Yeah,
Got
last
some
one.
other good ones here.
Last one.
Really?
Yes.
What does the dentist of the year get?
What?
A little plaque.
Oh.
One more.
We're going out for
No.
lunch.
Can I
with
tell you
Mark
one?
Opie.
Oh, this is a good one. All right.
Yeah, right.
This is my last one. How can you tell the sex of an ant?
How?
Well, you drop it in a bowl of water. If it sinks, girl ant. If it floats, boy ant.
Unbelievable. Hey, we've got to give a few quick thank yous out here. Firstly, thanks to all our listeners
Aren't we going on?
on Talking Time. No, we'll be back.
Oh,
but
okay.
just, we mightn't be back for a month or so, will we?
Okay.
So thanks
We'll
to
do
all
another
of our
special
listeners.
or something maybe before the end of the year.
As JB said, everyone who tweets in, emails in, that makes the show.
Johnny P.
Johnny P who comes in and listens. I want to thank Benny Jenkin who helps me out with Chief Watch. He really keeps a close eye on the Chief for me. Tommy Salagas, likewise, he helps me out with Chief Watch. We've got to thank Griggy.
Greg has been outstanding.
A few times this year
Stepped it
up.
we needed a lift and Griggy comes in. And
Camden,
and
the gift that keeps giving.
Camden,
Chronicles
yes.
of Camden.
Roland for
Roland and the
for
museum.
letting us
your
into
curator.
the museum.
Broady came in as
Broady
well.
was awesome.
Nathan Broad came in.
Yep.
If I've missed anyone, sorry, but most importantly, thanks to Scons.
Sconnors has been outstanding. Rach and Matt.
Yeah, Rach and Matt who come in and film it for everyone. But seriously, to you,
Sconnors.
Scons,
Couldn't happen without Sconnors.
we get up here and have a bit of fun. You do all the hard work, mate. So thank you.
He's a premiership podcast producer.
He is. And that's Talking Tigers and Richmond are a premiership
We
team in
won the flag.
2017. Go Tigers!
Eat 'em alive, Tigers. Best time of life.
If anyone's still listening out there, I forgot to thank two people. Lou, outstanding with the VFL, mate. I've really shouldn't have done that. And Manfred, let it go, brother. Let it go.